Introduce Sister. What's your full name, Sister?
My name is Sister Teracita Heffernan.
Heffernan.
Sister Teracita Heffernan, how are you? I'm Gary Gavenlock.
Oh, it's great to meet you, Gary. I'm feeling fine, very young. I'm a young woman now.
Oh,
A young woman.
Yeah.
Oh, pleased to see you. So we're just going to do a bit of a talk about Wyong and the convent. But I'll start off with, what was your parents' name?
My parents' name were Heffernan. Michael Heffernan was my father, and Bridget, her maiden name was Bridget O'Sullivan.
Right. And where were you born at?
I was born in Castleisland, County Kerry, in the south of Ireland.
Oh, yeah. What year?
In the year 1921, October 1921.
Right.
I'm 85 years, I'm just coming on. So.
And whereabouts in Ireland is that?
It's in the south of Ireland, in County Kerry.
County Kerry?
Yeah. County Kerry is the most picturesque part of Ireland.
Is it?
It's got a beautiful Killarney, which is called Heaven's Reflex. There's a beautiful place called Dingle. There are beautiful lakes and mountains all around it. You know.
Right.
The Ring of Kerry.
The Ring of Kerry, it's called.
And what school did you go to?
I went to the Presentation Sisters in Castleisland, in our own school, until year 8.
To year 8?
Yes. And then in year 8, I went to the juniorate in Newmarket, County Cork, where the Sisters of St. Joseph were. There were 6 Sisters of St. Joseph there, and we just went there, and they wanted to give us an idea of what the Sisters of St. Joseph were doing in Australia. And you'd stay there for 1 year or 2 years or whatever, and there you'd get the spirit of the order of the Josephites. And at the end of my time there, 3 years there, I decided I'd come out to Australia.
Right. And who inspired you to become a nun?
We had it all. The sisters, different sisters used to go around to the schools, and they used to talk about the need in the different countries of the world, the need of teachers who would teach the children religion, teach them about God. And one of them, a few of them came around and said Australia was lacking in teachers, especially out in the bush parts of Australia. Away from the city, the children had no education, not religious education, they hadn't any education. And of course, being a young girl, that inspired me a lot.
Right.
And I said, no, eventually, when I'm old enough, I'd like to come out here.
So how did you get out here, by boat?
Oh yes, by boat. We came out in 10 Irish girls.
10
of us came out on the Himalaya.
On the Himalaya?
Mm.
What year?
It was 1937.
Was it?
How many did you leave behind? How many brothers and sisters?
Oh yes, I had one sister who came with me. She was older than I was. The 2 of us went to this place in Newmarket together, and the 2 of us came out here together. I was younger, and I shouldn't have come out till the next year, but I said to the sisters there, if I don't go out with my sister, I said I won't go at all, because I was very close to my sister, and so my sister and I were amongst that 10 girls who came out. And we came out in the Himalaya, and later on, we had a wonderful time in the Himalaya. Later on, it was sunk, the Himalaya, some years after that. But we came out, and then we went to North Sydney, where we were postulants first in the order, and we went to North Sydney, and we were there for a number of years, and we were trained there to be teachers. We had a training school there. Eventually, after a number of years, we did our training there there was a training school in North Sydney at that time. And that's where we did our training for teachers.
Mount Street?
Mount Street, it was Mount Street. The novitiate was next door to Mount Street. Mount Street was our head house. And we were trained as teachers in the head house. Before that, of course, we had to do our novitiate. And then when we finished the novitiate, we went to our head house, which was in the same premise, same grounds really, and there we did our training to be teachers.
All right.
And that's where we were trained as teachers. And from there we used to go to the different schools to give demonstration lessons. And when they were qualified teachers, we were appointed to different convents around New South Wales or wherever. Most of us went to New South Wales. Most of us, my first appointment was to go out to school was Punch Bowl.
Was it?
And I was teaching 5th class at Punch Bowl. Oh, I was very happy there. Loved it. And then my next place after Punch Bowl, I went to Fairfield. I think I did. I might. Anyway, I went to Fairfield and then I went to North Sydney for a while, Rich Street, North Sydney.
Yeah.
And after that, then I was appointed to Wyong.
Right.
And loved Wyong. I was in North Sydney before I was appointed to Wyong. But when I went to Wyong, it was the real bush to me.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the first night. The complete darkness got me. There wasn't a light anywhere, no street lights, nothing.
Yeah.
But then I would have to say then, I just loved every bit of my time in Wyong. And I thought the sun would never shine again. When I was transferred from Wyong to, I think I was transferred to Milpera. I might have the different places, but I should know the list. I had the list where I was. I might be a bit inaccurate there.
And who was the priest when you got to Wyong?
Father Flaherty was the priest.
Was he?
He was. And he came from the same part of Ireland as I did.
Did he?
And of course he gave me a great welcome. After a while he did. He gave me a great welcome. And he used to give me books to read. And books mainly, English history books. And they were a bit kind to the English. But some of them I used to read at all because they were too provocative, so I didn't bother reading them. But he used to often have a little talks with me, but not often. You know, he'd come down to the school very rarely, and he came down to this convent once a week to say mass. But I thought he was a wonderful priest, but he used in his sermons, he wanted to be joking a lot.
Yep.
Now, there was another sister in the community with me, Sister Dennis. She became Mother General of the Order soon after that. And you see that we enjoyed the jokes, and we'd be in the seats with the people. And of course, we'd be laughing, and the more we'd laugh, the more he'd be joking. Well, then the superior at the time said that wasn't very nice, that we'd be giving bad example to the people in the church, laughing like that, the way we were. So Sister Bernard Joseph, she said, now you're not to sit together in the church. We all sat in one seat. I sat at one end and Sister Dennis sat at the other. But it didn't make any difference. So we joined up again. But Sister Dennis and I used to have a great time. We enjoyed Father Flaherty very much. Now at that time too, a lot of the sisters from North Sydney used to come up on holidays.
Right.
And of course he loved the holiday sisters, and he went on with more jokes for them. So he had a great audience with the sisters, and that's it. Now one particular thing I remember, they had a ball there, a ball anyway, and the ladies worked, and he got up after the ball and he said, now I'll tell you the result of the ball. The ball, he said, was great social success, but a dismal financial failure. Why? Because bouquets for the debs, complimentary tickets, and a whole lot of this thing you want. That's where all the money went.
Yeah.
But of course we enjoyed it again. But I thought that I'd never forgotten that, and that was a long, long time ago that he said it was well put.
And
he was a great priest. We were, you know, he was a good man.
And approximately what year did you get to Wyong?
I got to Wyong in 1947.
1947,
And
huh?
I was there for 5 years.
5 years. And was the school a teaching convent? Did they teach the nuns there?
Oh, no, it wasn't an novitiate. No, that was we had our novitiate and all our training in North Sydney.
Right.
And when we had finished that, we were sent to various parts of the country. Some went to Queensland, some went to Victoria.
Yeah.
I was fortunate. My first appointment was Punch Bowl.
Right.
And then when it was 1947, was it? I went to Wyong. Is that correct? 1947? I went to Wyong. Mhm.
Did Sister know, did you know Father O'Flaherty before you
Oh
went?
no, I didn't know Father O'Flaherty at all.
No.
But the sisters, some of the sisters were saying that who was going on holidays, oh, he comes from your part of the country, he'll give you a great welcome. But he did too, he gave me a great welcome, in a few words. Oh, he was a good man.
Sister, I love the part about the umbrella. Tell Gary about the umbrellas.
Oh, well you see now, Wyong, actually they're the convent there. We had actually no comforts whatever, but we didn't look for them because we were happy with the children. I just loved the children, and quite a number of the children coming to school were barefoot. And we didn't worry about that at all. The children were there for us, and I loved every one of them. And Sister Dennis and I, we had no accommodation, very little sleeping accommodation, and there were boarders there too. Now, where we slept, there were parapets. It wasn't enclosed. Consequently, the rats used to come in from the river sometimes. You'd hop on your bed. But the worst of all was when the rain came, because it would pour in on you. So the only way we could protect ourselves was to have umbrellas. So Dennis, my sister Dennis, God rest her soul, she and I used to have big umbrellas to put up over us when we were asleep to stop the rain from coming.
Stop the rain from...
Yeah.
And that'd be up the top,
That
in the
was
top
up at
level.
the top, yes. And they were open, you see, open parapets.
Yeah.
And there were two beds in this little room, but you wouldn't, two of us couldn't get out of bed at the same time because there was hardly any space. But we were exceptionally happy. Now there was Sister Bernard Joseph, she was the superior. Sister Leonidas was the cook, beautiful cook. There was a music teacher, and there were 3 of us in school. Sister Dennis had the infants, and Sister Bernard had the middle grades, and I had the top grades. But the girls were there, wonderful. I remember John Robinson quite well. And I remember that dear Mrs. Robinson, oh, she was such a good woman to us. She used to give us nice little things to eat because we didn't have anything over and above, but that didn't worry us. But I loved it. And one day I was teaching religion at Teuta every day. And John Robinson, I can still remember him at the back of the class with his red head. And he stood up and he said, do you know, I think we're very fortunate, he said, to be born after Jesus Christ was born, came to earth. I said, that's a very profound statement. I said, why? Because we know about prayers, we have the Mass, and we have the Blessed Sacrament, because we were in the time of Jesus when we got his teaching. I thought that was a very profound statement from a child in the class. I've never forgotten that all down those years. So, anyway, we had wonderful memories of Wyong. On Sundays, often Mrs. Trinker would come in the lorry, the old man as she called him. He'd come in and he'd take a few of us out on Sunday afternoon for a break. We went out to the poultry farm. For poultry. And that was like going on a Mercedes to us, you know, going in the back of the truck. We were delighted.
We've got a picture of that there in the trap.
But then there was Mrs. Robinson, then there was Mr. Fogarty. Like, if I mention names, they were so good as Mrs. Trinket, Mrs. Markland, Mrs. Robinson, Mr. Fogarty. Mr. Fogarty and I used to have great chats. We used to love the chat and the talk. So I had, as I tell you before, I made it previously, I thought the sun would never shine again when I left Wyong. I just loved it.
Did you go into any of the housing nights, sister, round to the houses?
No, we didn't.
You weren't allowed
We
out?
weren't allowed out at all. Never used the phone. I never used the phone once.
Couldn't you?
No, we didn't have, it was all, that was it, but we were happy in it.
Yep.
And I never moved out of the house, except once a year we had to go down to retreat, down to Sydney. And that was like going over to Paris or something. But we were so happy, and we were often asked the question later on in our religious life, when did we most feel that we were sisters of St. Joseph? And I always said I felt most the sister of St. Joseph at Wyong.
Sister, it says here that the classes began in the Catholic Church in Byron Street.
I wasn't told, I would be 40 years
Is that first? So they must have had school up there first.
Or they would have something, if you, the reading there tells you like how Mother Mary, how she was approached to send the sisters. Whatever it was, they had a different house up there. And,
And 1923 saw the opening of the new classrooms that were built in Penania Road.
See, I was only 2 years old then. I was way back in Ireland.
Father O'Flaherty was always on time.
Father O'Flaherty never came on time. We often went up to Mass in the morning, and Sister Bernard Joseph was an old sister then, and she wasn't very well. And it was a very big climb up the hill. Now, I was the young sister then, and I used to have to push up the hill. And we'd get up there, and no sign of dear Father O'Flaherty, so I used to go over and knock at the door to wake him up, but sometimes he wouldn't answer at all, so we'd just come back down again. And I used to always say to them, now it's very few sisters would have a nice morning walk as we do, up the hill and down again. So we enjoyed it like that. Actually, we made fun of everything. It was a wonderful experience, me Wyong was. Never forgotten it. And look at it today now, like all these, John and Kathleen and all the Robinson and Mary here and the Fogartys. If I mention names, you know, it's... And then I was very happy teaching there because some of the boys that wanted to go on ahead in college, I was able to get them bursaries.
Right.
And it was wonderful. And I loved it, you know. We had they had no distractions and we had no distractions. So that next to God and our praise, the children were everything to us. And the parents.
What was your daily ritual as a nun? What would you be doing every day?
I tell you now, we used to get up at 5 o'clock every morning.
Yep.
And then we got half an hour. Then our first thing, we'd have meditation for half an hour, prayer. And then about 8 o'clock we'd have our breakfast, whatever we had for breakfast. And we always had enough to eat because the people were very good to us. They'd bring in eggs and chicken, fowls and all that to us, and bread. And
Trinkers, marmalades.
Yes, trinkers and the marmalades and
Ferrers.
and the ferrers, oh yes, the ferrers, they'd all bring food to us.
And would you go up to the church every day to Mass?
Oh, every day, except one day a week, I think it was Saturday, Father Flaherty would come down occasionally and say Mass for us in the convent.
Would he?
But every day, Mass was very important to us. But I tell you, we used to often go up to Mass and he wouldn't be there. But now, sometimes, most of the times he was. And then, if we didn't have Mass then, we'd have a little ritual ourselves and have extra prayers ourselves. But the Mass was dominant in our lives, and prayer was too.
Many people go.
Yeah, there were a few people at Mass. There'd be
Morning masses.
Oh, there would be at morning. There was one morning Mass. There would be about, there would be the odd few people. I'd say about 8 or 9 people. But I don't know, but see, a lot of them would be engaged in poultry farms and all that, and some of them wouldn't have conveyance either, you know, and they wouldn't be able to get to Mass. We walked up. Well, another person on the way up to Mass, our Mrs. Booth, must often say hello to her on the way to Mass. I remember Mrs. Booth, yeah.
She still lives in the same place.
Oh, that's it. Oh, that's lovely. You brought her down here one time with us. Anyway, and all these years now, there's faithful here, and I'm sitting here today with John Robinson, and Mary, and Kathleen, and Kathleen's son. So, like, Wyong is still part of my life. Very much part of it. I've got the most beautiful, as I say, I felt most adjusted at Wyong. I loved every bit of it, but that was our day. And like, we never went up the town much. We didn't move out at all. We had no phone call. It wasn't done in those days because we were quite happy.
Did you ever use the boat shed? Ever go swimming?
Oh, the swimming was great. I used to go down swimming at night.
Did
some
you?
of the nuns and some of the boarders used to go swimming too.
Yeah.
Oh, we went swimming in that pool. I don't know how hygienic it was or anything, but we were there.
Oh, you had a little wooden pool.
We had a little, we had a
wooden
pool
pool.
there.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
that river was great.
Yeah.
Some of them would get out of them and swim over to the other side, which was very dangerous. Oh, that pool was great. And when the sisters came up on holidays to Wyong, as I told you, the sisters from North Sydney would come up, and they loved the swimming too. And there was a magnificent tree there in the gardens. We'd sit around there and read. Like we had the beautiful, simple joys of life there. And that was it. And we loved the people, and we knew the people loved us, and the children, and we were all just, it was an ideal situation. And it all just happened so naturally.
And was the ferries still dropping the children in of a morning?
Yes, there was one girl I remember, she was all from there, from that place, it was a fishing village.
Tacoma.
Yeah, well she used to come, she got a bursary girl.
Beryl Gary.
Yeah. What was her name?
Garrity.
Beryl Garrity. Well, I lost touch of her. She used to come across my boat in the mornings.
Did she?
But she got a bursary there, but I think she went to a high school, but she took it out somewhere, yes. Oh, it was a wonderful...
And there would have been a lot of poor families in Wyong at the
Oh,
time.
they were poor, we were all poor, you see.
So, and the nuns would educate the poorer families for nothing, wouldn't they?
Oh, there was nothing, there was no fees then. There was something like 2 and 6pence, a half a crown.
Was it?
School fees, that's all, we never worried about that. To be about something like 2 and 6 or something. Whatever the coins at that time were.
Yeah.
We gave about 2 shillings, a nominal thing. But now the sisters taught music. Anybody who learned music paid a bit extra. And that bit of music, you know, helped a bit.
Yeah, they taught me the music.
Yeah, but they...
Afternoon,
Did you get money to live on, sister, then, or not?
No. We got... No, we didn't really. The money we got was what we got, like, from these 2 shillings. Whatever we got. And you see, it sufficed because the people were so good to us. They gave us... We had chicken, somebody used to give us meat, we had eggs. And see, and we were never really hungry. You see,
Nana Robinson across the road.
oh, she was
She
great.
was good to you.
Oh, Robinson,
Yeah,
Mrs. Robinson was wonderful to us. She'd bring us all, she'd make scones of bread, whatever the bread was, and you know, see, and we never worried about it.
That's
you know,
your great-grandmother.
Yeah.
oh, she was a great woman altogether.
Was
Oh,
she?
she was
Old Amy.
Oh, she was a wonderful woman.
Do you remember Jack?
I do. And I loved the little yarns to them. Now they were all big, they were the big people to us. And we were, see, you know, it's really the ideal life of simplicity, and that's what happiness is. Money doesn't make happiness. I know you've got to have it and all that, and things are very different now. But that's why I was so grateful. The values I learned there. And yet, when I came from a family at home, my father was a teacher in the town, and my mother was a postmistress, and we were affluent, but that never entered my head. Never, I just loved the life I was in. And so you can see why Wyong to me is the peak of my religious experience.
And getting back to the church, were you there when Father Williams was there?
No.
You'd gone by then.
I did. I had gone. Father Flaherty was still there.
Was still there.
And Father Flaherty retired at the home at Ranwick. And I went to see him a few times there.
Right.
He retired there.
Right. So you would have been there when they done the renovations of the church?
No, we had nothing.
Nothing.
Just the school. There were no renovations of any shape or form.
Wasn't
The
it?
school or convent or church.
Right.
We just there.
And the school was basically just a little wooden building and just the convent itself.
No, there was the convent was itself, and then you crossed over to the school. I mean, it was there.
That little wooden building
Yeah,
there.
but there was a rickety stairs up. My word, you'd have to be very light to get up those stairs, you know, without
Upstairs.
hands. No, I was upstairs. I was teaching upstairs. You know, you just upstairs.
You all over Wyong.
You would, and you could be. I bet they did. And you know, you'd be lucky, but no accidents. See, nothing. God looked after us all the time.
It's just a little, there was brick toilets down the side, wasn't there?
I can't.
There's a photo of
No, for us.
he's going out to Trinker's place.
The Lord, isn't that marvellous? Look at that. God, I can't put your mind there. I can't put myself. Look at going out to Trinker's. And that was like a Mercedes to us. And all the sisters were so happy there.
It's a little bit blurred.
It is a bit blurred, but it's a lovely photo. Now that's
This
a
one's got glasses on.
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't have glasses then. I only got glasses later. But you know, see, that was happiness to us. Well, out there that Sunday afternoon.
Do you know any of them in there,
I
sister?
think I'd take a bit of while to look at it. I think that was Sister Lawrence. I don't know if she was over there. And that looks like to be Sister Kevin.
Uncle John?
I'll have a look at them all
Go around the
again.
outside and give
Unless it's holiday time, it might be holiday.
It could be a holiday people. But now,
Sister
Gary,
Helen was there in
she was there before.
44.
I took her place.
Yeah.
Gary, you've been very patient, but anyway, I hope I give you the impression of how we loved all the sisters. We were so happy there.
Mm.
And it was a simple, lovely life. God was first. God was first in our life, but He was also first in the life of the people. They were, you know, lovely, beautiful people coming to the door with whatnot. I know that now, but that Sister Teresa. No, it's not. It looks like, no, if I thought she looks like Sister Carol Ladd. She looks like Sister
Leon. It's Sister
Leon.
Leon.
It's Leon. It's
Yeah.
Leon, yeah.
Sister Leon.
Leon.
There she lives.
I don't know, that is girl is she gorgeous.
Um,
So now, Gary, you'd have a fair idea of it, wouldn't you?
we need to hear some more stories about Father O'Flaherty.
Mari was saying the Booth boys had 5, Mrs. Booth had 5 boys that were all altar boys.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
5 of them.
Wonderful.
I think Gary was an altar boy too for a while. I
And
don't
that
know
looks
what
like
went wrong.
Sister Thekla,
Yes, it is.
Mm.
and that looks like Sister Ellen, Sister Christopher. And this looked like Sister Anne. She was a music teacher.
That may not be at Wyong.
It doesn't look like the place there.
Well, they've got to look on them.
Mm. But anyway, Gary, have I given you enough information?
Yeah, we might just Mary might just ask some more questions about the church and Father O'Flaherty.
Anna Marie Trinket.
Yes.
About what,
Got a
Gary?
name on it?
About the church and Father O'Flaherty.
Oh,
No, we didn't want to check on the tape to see how it's coming through. Is it?
I don't worry about it. It should come through in this. I'll be using this audio anyway.
We can give it to her
Yeah.
then.
I'm only doing that as a backup. We don't need it.
Well, now, one time I must recall this. That Father O'Flaherty took us out, mind you, to Soldiers Beach.
Really?
Well, yes,
In his car?
yes, he did.
That was daring.
That was, and we were there. Strange. No. And we all got sunburned to bits.
So,
See, we were used to it.
What is,
You can imagine the sunburn I get.
how did you get sunburned?
The sun at Soldiers
There's all the
Beach.
habits on, you'd have all
Oh,
your gear
you
on.
get it, see, you'd get, because I suppose we lift up our sleeves and everything, and little bits of us that had never got the sun, even the fresh air. Oh, we burnt to bits.
I bet you that was an experience going to the beach, eh?
Oh, it was
Especially
really.
with father driving.
Well, listen, that's it, you see, that's where miracles happen. We wouldn't be able to take all of us, but I was in the crowd anyway, because there were 5 of us and his car wouldn't take that. He was very good to take us out there, you know. We thought it was a wonderful day for us. It was like going to the Riviera in France, but we paid for it, the sunburn. But we had I don't know, probably must have taken a basket of food, which I don't know what we did. But the main thing was to get out. As I tell you, we never went out. We never used the phone all those 5 years I was there.
Mm.
We never went anywhere except down on retreat to Sydney once a year.
Right.
And we went by train. Well, I thought we'd never get there. I thought it was the longest journey. Only once a year we went out. The retreat is compulsory for every sister.
And where was the retreat at?
We had the retreat at North Sydney
Right.
at that time, and there'd be about 200 sisters on retreat. But now we have, lots of things are very different now. And the essentials are all the same, but now you can choose where to go yourself on retreat.
Yeah.
Because, 200 on retreat was a very big number. And we'd be all lining up for confession. You could line up for days and you wouldn't get there at all, with the big numbers. But that's all. There are different things now, lots of changes, which we have wonderful leadership now, and things change, for the better. Things don't change for the sake of changing, but things, but the essentials of religious life are the same. You still make your vows to the Lord, you're still committed to prayer life, and if you haven't, well, you're a bit of a monstrosity, because that's what you can't give, like you've got to meet the Lord before you can give him to people. And indeed, we learned a lot from the people, I tell you, we weren't the people who thought about the Lord, the people gave us wonderful example of family life and wonderful example of unselfishness and generosity. They did really.
I suppose the nuns these days get it easier than you would have years ago.
I think it's different, Gary. I don't know if it's easier. It's more challenging today because before, like, we all said our prayers together. The bell rang, you went to prayers, and things were structured.
Yeah.
It's less structured now, but your commitment is the same.
Yeah.
And in that way, it's personal responsibility now. You know, you're not, others in the chapel, you go in. No, it's personal responsibility. To me, and to a lot of others, I think it's more challenging now.
Yeah.
You know, because you have to choose to be faithful to what you, or your sister. But definitely, it's personal responsibility, and there are a lot of wonderful things about the changes that have taken place. I mean, even, I know the dress is important, but, you know, we used to be sweltering in those habits and all that. And lots of things, not the dress. Oh yes, and not the dress that makes the person either. But the changes are very good, and our leaders, we've got tremendous leadership.
I can remember once being at the shop in shorts,
Yeah.
and yous were coming up the street and I had to run and hide, so you wouldn't see me in shorts.
God help us, yes, it's so different.
Father O'Flaherty was pretty well educated, wasn't he?
Oh, Father O'Flaherty was a highly intelligent man. Highly intelligent. He came from the part of the country I came from, but out more or less on the western side of it, away back in the remote village. He got the chair for Greek in Ireland, which was a very, very high position in the university in Ireland. Then he came out here, and he was appointed to the seminary in Springwood. It was a minor seminary. Now, for a man like Father Flaherty, that was complete confinement. So he didn't stay there long at all. And then he was appointed to different parishes. I don't know what parishes he was before he was at Wyong. But
He's a very kind man.
he was a very kind, and he was very faithful to his duties. He gave those people, he was a very kind man, but very sensitive. He was a real scholar. And a lot of real scholars are sensitive. Oh, and he loved his people. He told me when I went there, you come into the best people in this country, he said. So like, and that's a very big tribute to him. The priest loves his people. We've all got idiosyncrasies. He was very faithful to his mass.
He was at Newtown before
Oh,
Wyong.
was it?
That's where he performed a miracle, he said. Said there was a chap came to the door one night. He was a lame man. Must have been in the Depression years. And he couldn't walk. He was disabled. So he wanted 10 bob for a fee.
Yeah.
So he used to tell this on the altar when he was telling his jokes. So he said, I had to look through the window after I gave him the 10 bob when he was running down the street. I said, I cured the lame man.
No, he had a great sense of humour.
He'd say there was a lot of people at Mass last week from
Oh,
Cobar.
that's right. Why, the coppers. All the coppers on the place. Because Cobar isn't known for copper.
All right.
Pennies.
Oh, yeah.
Pennies, yeah. Well, he was a trick. And I tell you, he didn't like the cardinals or anybody, the bishop. He didn't like the bishop coming to visit the parish.
Didn't he?
No. And he was telling the people from the altar, the bishop is coming, and I'll tell you, I'll be glad when he's gone. And when he's gone, I'll get out to the top of that hill and I'll do a dance. That's
Just hear him say
Yes,
that.
and that's it.
Who was the bishop?
I think it was Cardinal Gilroy.
Gilroy or
Yeah.
Moran?
No, not more. No, that was too early. Cardinal Gilroy was the bishop. It was at that time. I tell you, no, they're not welcome at all in here. See, he had his people around him. The people loved him, and as Catherine said there, like he was a very kind man. But
Whenever I went up of a Saturday or a Sunday, he'd have the radio blaring with the races on.
Yeah.
Because he had an account with Billy Bergens that Bergens had the fruit shop at the entrance,
Yes.
and they were the SP bookmakers. So he used to have a bet with the SP bookies at the entrance. So every so often Billy Bergen had wiped the slate clean and he and Father and Flaherty would start again.
Oh, I'd say they would. And he used to, this often too, he went up the street now, I think it was the Melbourne Cup or something was on, and he was telling them about the Feast of the Resurrection. Oh, it mustn't be the Melbourne Cup. He stopped some man and he said, you know, tomorrow now is the Resurrection, Easter Sunday. And the fellow said to him, Where does he come in the race? Where does resurrection come? He thought it was a horse. The poor fellow he spoke to didn't know anything about it. Oh, dear, he's a funny man.
When I was married, he gave us the money back. He wouldn't take it.
Now look at that.
He said, you'll need it more than I do.
See, now that's, he was, the whole life of the place was simple. He didn't worry about money, didn't worry about those things that didn't matter, you know, and he was faithful to those people there.
And how was relations with the Anglican Church in them days, all right?
I don't remember any of that at all.
No.
We'd never thought of them. We didn't even know there was one there.
Didn't.
All that's developed since, you see. Now, all we knew was go up there for Mass. But then there was, he used to have missions there too. I think we had 2 missions when I was there. Some other priests had come from a different order, the Redemptorists, and mostly I think, and they'd give a mission for a week. That was great. And the people attended that 100. Church would be packed for that. You did those things all right.
In those days, you didn't talk to the Church of England, did you?
Oh, no, we never talked. No, we went straight
We
into
weren't
that.
allowed to talk, you know, you'd run past
See,
it.
that's where all the change. This thing is wonderful. Like it's different altogether.
I think Grandma Robinson, when she died, it was the first time the nuns and the priest had ever been in the Church of England church. They went in for her.
We would go for her. Yeah. Oh, he would see to that. Oh, Grandma Robinson, I might have thought Johnson. Oh, she was a wonderful woman. She's like a mother to us, and we knew we were safe. Like she was a great woman. And see that there was a wonderful oneness between the people and the sisters.
Got any questions, Mike?
Well, no, Gary, it is, I don't know, I just rambling on.
Yeah, well, that's been a beautiful, beautiful little chat.
Yeah.
And can you give the Wyong people a bit of a message for their 100 years coming up? 100 years of the Catholic Church is coming up this weekend.
Yes.
So you
I'd be there, I'd be there.
Are you coming down, are you?
Oh, yes, I'm going up for it.
Up for the school, but
Right.
not for the church.
Yeah, for
no.
the church, for the church.
Oh, the church.
That's this
Next
Saturday.
March.
Oh,
Next
in
March.
We're going up next March.
Right, next March.
April.
April, is it?
Oh, you have to, yeah.
Oh, she comes in March, she'll be there in plenty of time.
Yeah.
And that's why I was telling Peter Daly too, he'd be up. So we're going up in March, the celebration of 100 years of the church.
It's April, I think, sister.
April, and
If
April,
if you're making arrangements with anyone?
I don't have many appointments now at all, you see. Except, but I've got March or April done. Anyway, John will keep me informed.
And bring whoever, if Peter Daly wants to come, there's room there,
Yes.
at my place.
Well,
Or
he's
he can bring his wife.
Or you can bring a couple of nuns with you, huh?
lovely.
You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got enough room for 4 people.
Yeah.
And then he's dead now, so you can say anything about it.
Well, I know, but you see, another time too, he took us out in the car other times too, somewhere else, because there was a flag, an English flag somewhere, and he stopped the car. I won't tell you what he did, or what he said, because he had no time whatever for England. And he said something there, and I couldn't repeat it. But anyway, the car was stopped, and we were amazed at what he said, because of the English flag, and we passed by quickly. See, now he saw us there. England rose to its greatest power in the reign of Queen Elizabeth. Oh dear. Sarcastically, you know, when he'd give a whole one sentence after the other about the evil of Queen Elizabeth. Oh, and he did,
Victoria.
yeah, he was. He had very great animosity towards England. Now that's it, he really did. And we, in the convent, we didn't talk politics or anything like that, but the few minutes we met him on that, you get enough for a lifetime. I couldn't repeat what he said. England rose to its greatest strength and glory, and he'd say that with all the sarcasm, you know. Oh, dear. In the reign of Queen Bess. Could you just listen to it?
He would have gone through the
Oh, he would have gone through the hard times in Ireland, in the famine. Oh, he would have
potato famine and
bitter,
everything.
oh, and you know, schools were closed, in that time in Ireland, there was a price on priest's head.
Mhm.
Anybody aboard priest cut the heads off. And they had no education, but the Irish people are very keen on education. They used to have education around the rocks. And somebody would be watching out, you see, for the soldiers.
Right.
Somebody would teach the children there and teach the grown-ups, and they'd come there together, but they had to be very careful.
How come he was so well educated, sister? And
Well, you see, a lot of them they'd be sent, even though they had nothing, if they were, he was a priest, I suppose, he wanted to become a priest, and then people would run those colleges, they took them in for nothing. Same as he, then that type of thing.
a lot of bursary.
Yeah, and they had natural ability, very clever, some of them. He was
Good on languages.
Oh, he was extremely clever man. He was a real scholar, you see, very scholar. And then he had idiosyncrasies, then part of that. But he was, as Catherine said, he was such a lovely gentleman and kind.
Yeah, that's, I think Sister gave it to, or someone gave it to Sister.
He carries up and all this kind of thing. I don't know anything about all this now, this technique that you do.
All right.
Did he have any brothers and sisters? Do we know anything about
About
father?
no, I didn't know it. He had a brother, a priest. He had a brother, priest, Father Jeremiah O'Flaherty. He was down at Bega, I think. Somewhere down that way, yes.
There's a picture of the old convent.
Oh, look at that. Oh, gosh.
With the boat shed there.
I do. And there, look out the front door, we come out there. Now, we must have been up there under that roof, we had nothing else. Oh,
There's the
that's,
girls out there waiting.
all right, oh, isn't that lovely? Oh, that's lovely, huh? Dear, dear.
I'll show you that one. It's always, oh, there's a picture of it when it was getting built. See, it's one story. Before you got
yes,
there.
I do.
See the same boat shed there?
I do the very same thing. Oh, God, nearly the swim I had down there. Ah, they're wonderful photos. Now, that's a very good one.
I'll have to give you a copy of this.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I like that. Oh, gee, I can get this very much. Oh,
These are all long, because you click on any of them. I'm just going to
gorgeous,
look at
gorgeous,
it.
gorgeous. Helpless.
You just
I wouldn't know why I'm not.
See the little pool?
Ah, look at it. Ah, there's the pool.
That's you. That looks like sister.
God, I bet there was a nun there.
They call them baths. They didn't call
The
them
baths. I used to go down at night.
I
I used to love that pool. That pool was like an Olympic pool to us.
Gary can give me a
Oh
copy.
God, it was great. Look at these and these gorgeous.
Good idea to give it to her and say who it is.
These are all long.
Yeah.
All the school
Oh,
photos.
the school photos, look.
Well, I'll
No,
give you,
that's
I'll
a
give
long
you
primary
two.
though,
Wait
that's
till
not
you-
ours.
Only the groups.
Ah,
Yeah, oh, whatever. You don't want these in the name?
There's a church.
Do you know anybody on that
They,
one?
yes, right.
That's the church too. That's the
Oh,
old church.
look at them, that is gorgeous.
Mari, now
Look
that's
at that,
got
I
that
love that
front,
one.
where's that
Mm.
church photo there?
That's lovely, look at that, that's really nice, huh? Look at the hats.
See the windows at the top of the sun. It's different.
Right,
They never had that.
uh-huh.
And see here, it hasn't got the vestibule on the side.
No.
No, uh-huh.
Do you think it's there or not?
Yeah, they put the church there later.
No,
Yeah, no, it's not the same one.
no.
So I'll write on the back, it's not worn.
Yes.
Get over there.
What do you reckon?
Very, very nice.
Show that.
I'll just get another battery, wait a second.
He might.
Aren't they interesting? Yeah, he loves these.
Pretty clever.
Very clever, too clever for me.
Oh, they're too clever for me too.
Yeah.
My brothers are great and all
The
this.
grandchildren are as good.
Isn't it there?
They love it. They can
And
manage
isn't
it.
this the great old Heffern got into the school?
Oh, thank goodness. It's
I
got-
wrote to him, you know, I wrote to the principal.
It was nearly,
Yeah, that's where I wrote it. I sent the letter to the principal with all about the Robinson families
we
and
were
everything.
nearly having
Oh,
heart
did you have a
attacks.
photo of that? You keep a copy?
So we're hoping
I should have, I should have.
hoping Angus gets there now.
Oh, he did, he's got it. Wasn't
And
it wonderful?
Bronte's dancing all this weekend in Sleeping Beauty in the ballet. She starts tonight.
Oh, look at this, I love this.
Oh,
Oh,
look
look at
at
Father Flat, and look at Peter Reed.
Yeah, that's
What
gorgeous.
he,
I've been
oh, I
doing
think
it.
that's, Peter died. Peter Regan, Father Flaherty.
Yeah.
Look, oh, look at this. Peter Daly behind.
Yes.
That's Peter Daly.
Have you got that photo?
I haven't, no.
I'll make you a copy of
You
it.
I
print
think
that off
he
for
did.
you.
Gary, you can't do it now, but he'll print it off.
Peter Daly. Peter
I'll
Regan.
give you one of these DVDs.
Peter died very suddenly.
You won't have anything
He
to play in
made
it,
a
Mum.
mess.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
His life.
His mum and
Put
dad
it in
were the
TV.
first ones married in the church.
His
And-
mother's a lovely woman.
Yes, and we got the,
Do you know that
she's
they
got
were
the wedding
okay?
photo.
Ah.
Yeah,
And you want copies of these
Oh,
back,
I
don't
do,
you?
please.
Right, yeah, no worries, I'll
And
Photoshop
I know
those.
John will do all that for me, yeah.
Yeah, and Gary will get you one of those.
Oh, look at Father Flaherty. Oh,
You haven't got any photos
no,
of
I
him?
haven't. No, I haven't.
And the Peter Daly in the background there, Gary,
Oh,
won't
look
you?
at Peter,
Yeah.
look at Peter, look in the back. Oh,
You get a surprise when he sees that.
oh God, that's lovely. Yeah.
Get us 2 copies, Gary. 2,
Ah.
and you can send one down to him.
Well, I
Because
was,
he possibly was the best man or something there.
oh, he was. Well, he'd be the best man. He
Yeah.
was because it's just the husband. He was the best man.
Hmm.
He told me it was Peter's best man. I was
Right.
very sad when Peter died. He made a bit of a mess of his life.
Yes, yeah.
He was, and his
But
mother
you know what, it was
woman.
because he, I think, sort of like alcoholism is not, it's a disease, isn't it?
It's a
not
sickness. It's a sickness, John.
Or a
The same
disease.
as
More of a
disease. Like a kidney disease or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like
And I
that.
think his father,
Yeah.
he got it from his father,
And
because
that's
his
it.
father.
And that's why you've got to love these people who've
That's
got
right.
that, have taken the sick people.
Because,
That's
so,
wonderful.
he was, because,
Look at these fellows, these, God, I love their hats and everything. Oh, look at that! John, you should know some of those.
Wyong Pioneer's Return, I don't know.
Ah, look at that, isn't that gorgeous? And the hats and everything. Come on. You're great, John, to come down.
This is you print that photo off, but you could give the sister one of these DVDs. You got a DVD
Oh, I have a
player, haven't you?
DVD,
Yeah, I'll give it, and this you can put it in your TV. I didn't bring one down for you today, unfortunately.
I have a DVD there.
You should go to Spencer's. Spencer's store in Wyong, where they get all the clothes.
I know, but you see, we never went up the town or anything. See, that was it. We never bought any clothes or anything there.
Oh, no, you wouldn't.
I bet it's very different now, is it, Wyong?
Oh, yeah.
What's that for? Rubber star. You'd have a lot of interesting stuff on there, wouldn't you?
This is
Peter.
radio and
Oh,
audio.
no.
You should get Gary to do one of these for you.
What's it called?
With all your family photos and everything, you put them all on there on that.
What is it? It's marvellous how this technique of their hands, isn't it? See, it seems fun to do it. Why the DVD channel on the video? They're great. What you can put through them. One of my brothers and I says we love videos, thank God. DVDs too.
I was saying some of these old churches out of Snowden, some of the old Catholic churches.
Oh yeah, that's it. Great stuff. God, you've been entertained forever. Oh my. Yeah.
And that's one you got there, are they? You got it back again? Are they my photos or yours?
Beautiful structure.
Oh, that's Amy. That's what's her name?
Anna Robinson.
Anna Robinson.
Ah, for
That's your
goodness.
old girlfriend.
Oh, isn't that lovely, John? Oh, isn't that lovely? What you like, you mother? You like her? John. Oh, look at them, aren't they beautiful? Isn't it, these are treasures to have, really? Oh, dear God. She's a great woman. A great woman.
This is
Is it? Oh, that's
You can learn all about that convict
That would be great, you know.
They tell you all about that later.
Isn't that marvellous now? God, isn't it wonderful what you can do with it? I think you're expert they should have it well. Oh,
There's the Underground Catholic Church.
oh, God, look at it. God help us, huh?
Hmm?
Our Lady of Loretto, 1840, donated by she who is buried